Hi students, today I am here with chapter 3 of history, that is nationalism in India. Okay. So before going to the details of the chapter, let's know what is nationalism and how this movement spread in our country. Okay. The growth of modern nationalism was closely associated to the anti-colonial movement in almost all those countries which were the victim of imperialist conquest. And nationalism prospered in our country, that is India, in the real sense only in 19th century, when the consolidation of British power had led to the political unification of the country. The destruction of India's political system, emergence of new social classes, and the social and religious reform movement had laid the foundation for the growth of modern nationalism. Okay. Now, what is nationalism?
So nationalism, it is basically the feeling of patriotism, that is affection towards the country, and it also implies a significant unity among the people. Okay, so in this particular chapter we are going to deal with the impact of First World War on India, idea of satyagraha, various satyagraha movement, non-cooperation movement, Khilafat movement, etc.
Impact of First World War on India. The First World War created economical and political crisis in our country. Due to the huge increase in the defense expenditure, custom duties were raised and income tax was introduced. And through the years, prices were increasing significantly and doubling in between 1913 and 1918. Demand for soldiers increased and forced recruitment took place in rural areas of our country. And this led to extreme hardship for the common man and also caused widespread anger. In addition to this, people have to face such problems just like in 1918 and 1919, and in between 2021, crops failed in many parts of our country. Crops failed in many parts of India, resulting to acute shortage of food. Okay. Then came an influenza epidemic in 1921. Nearly 12 to 13 million perished as a result of plague epidemic. People hoped that their hardship would end after the war will be over, but this didn't happen, and this caused a widespread anger among the people of our country towards Britishers. Okay. When our country people were facing such situation, at that time Mahatma Gandhi returned to India, and he came from South Africa, where he successfully fought the racist regime with a novel method of mass agitation, which is termed as satyagraha. What is satyagraha? The idea of satyagraha emphasizes the power of truth and need to search for truth. Gandhiji believed that this dharma of non-violence could unite all the Indians. Okay? So he also believed that and suggested that if the cause was truth, if the struggle was against injustice, then physical force was not necessary to fight the oppressor. Without seeking or being aggressive, a satyagrahi could win the battle through non-violence. Okay? So this was the idea of satyagraha, and Gandhiji emphasized on satyagraha. After arriving in India, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized various satyagraha movement in various places. Okay? In 1916, Gandhiji traveled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasant to struggle against oppressive plantation system. In 1917, he organized a satyagraha movement in Kheda district of Gujarat to support the peasant against the revenue collection to be relaxed. Okay. And in 1918, Gandhiji traveled to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha movement amongst the cotton mill worker. Okay, and Gandhiji had a great success in all the above.
Gandhiji, after gaining popularity in 1919, Gandhiji decided to launch a nationwide satyagraha against the proposed Rovlack Act. Now, what is Rovlack Act? This act gave the government enormous power to repress political activities and allowed detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. And Gandhiji wanted to fight this by adopting non-violence by organizing activities like Hartal, Bandh, etc. And Gandhiji wanted to go against such unjust law, which would start with Hartal on 6th April. Rallies were organized in various cities and workers were sent on strike in railway, workshop, and shops were also closed down. And the consequences of this was that this scared the British, so it decided to clamp down the nationalist movement. And as a result of this, local leaders were picked from Amritsar and Gandhiji was barred from Delhi. And on 10th April, the police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking a widespread attack on bank, post office and railway station. And on 13th April, because of the April 10 incident, on 13th April, because of the April 10th incident, strict martial law had been imposed and General Dyer took command and the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. Okay. Now, what is Jallianwala Bagh incident? On 13th April, a crowd of villagers who had come to Amritsar to attend the fair had gathered in an enclosed ground of Jallianwala Bagh. Okay. Being from outside the city, they were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. Dyer entered the area, blocked the exit point and opened fire on crowd, killing hundreds. And his object, as he declared later, was to produce a moral effect to create in the mind of Satyagraha a feeling of terror and awe. As the Jallianwala Bagh news spread, there was strikes, clashes with police and attack on government building. The government countered with brutal repression seeking to humiliate and terrorize people. Seeing the violence spread, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. Okay. Now, what was the limitation of Rovlack Act? Now, limitations of Rovlack Act. Though the Rovlack Act was widespread and broad, Gandhiji felt it wasn't broad enough to bring about change. The only way to launch a more widespread and effective movement was to bring Hindus and Muslims together. So he decided to take advantage of Khilafat issue, and as such Khilafat movement was led. Khilafat movement was led by two brothers, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. As the First World War was ended with Ottoman's defeat, rumors were spread that harsh treaty was going to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, the Khalifa, spiritual head of Islamic world. And to defend the Khalifa's temporal power, a Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay in March 1919. And young Muslims started discussing with Gandhiji about the possibility of united mass action on the issue. Gandhiji took advantage of this, and in 1920 he convinced the other leaders of Congress to start a non-cooperation campaign for Swaraj. At the Calcutta session of the Congress in September 1920, he convinced the other leaders of the need to start a non-cooperation movement in support of Khilafat and as well as for the Swaraj. Okay, why non-cooperation? In his famous book Hind Swaraj, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians and had survived only because of this cooperation. So if Indian refused to cooperate, British rule in India would collapse within a year and Swaraj would come out. Okay. And for this, Gandhiji proposed that movement should be unfold in stages. It should begin with surrender of titles that the government awarded and boycott the civil service, army, police, court and legislative councils. Schools and foreign goods also should be not accepted. Then in case the government used to repression, a full civil disobedience campaign would be launched. Through the summer of 1920, Mahatma Gandhi and Shaukat Ali toured extensively, mobilizing popular support for the movement. Okay. Many within the Congress were, however, concerned about the proposal and they were reluctant to boycott the council election scheduled for November 1920. And they feared that the movement might lead to popular violence. And in the month between September and December, there was intense tussle within the Congress. For a while, there seemed no meeting point between the supporters and the opponents of the movement. And finally, the Congress session at Nagpur in December 1920, okay, the non-cooperation movement was adopted. Thank you.